Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. Okay, we are live indeed. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round because we got ourselves a juicy political tale. So, House Democrats, you know them. They tried to censor a censorship hearing. Oh, the irony. It's like trying to put a lock on a vault filled with keys. Come on, you guys are better than this, or are you? Can you believe it? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., presidential hopeful, got invited by Republicans to spill some beans on government censorship, and the Dems were having none of it. They were all like, oh no, you can't say that. It's against the rules. Yeah. Wait a minute. Aren't they supposed to be about free speech and standing up against censorship? Now times have changed. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the chief censor, claimed RFK Jr. made despicable comments about COVID being ethnically targeted. Oh, please, give me a break. That's been debunked more than the flat earth theory. The Republicans swooped in like the heroes of the story, voting down the Dems' attempt to hush up RFK Jr. It's like watching a Western movie where the good guys saved the day, but instead of gunslingers, we got politicians with microphones, and I said it, the Republicans were the good guys. Huh. And oh boy, the hypocrisy is on full display. The Democrats even tried to limit his speaking time. That's right, folks. They wanted to censor a guy at a hearing about censorship. It's like trying to fit an elephant in a tiny car. That's just not going to work. But RFK Jr. wasn't having any of it. He stood his ground like a seasoned lawyer, saying censorship is antithetical to our party, the Democrat Party. Oh, snap. It's like watching a courtroom drama, only with politicians instead of lawyers and a whole lot more hot air. But get this, the Biden administration tried to censor his vaccine comments too. They came up with a fancy new word, malinformation. And this is for information that's true, but inconvenient for the government. It's like inventing a whole new language just to cover up the truth. I mean, come on, folks. This is a circus of hypocrisy and double standards. It's like trying to navigate a maze filled with smoke and mirrors, but the joke's on them because we can see right through it. So, to all you politicians out there trying to censor a censorship hearing, here's a friendly piece of advice. Put down the microphone, step away from the podium. Let the truth flow, let the words fly, and let the chips fall where they may. After all, isn't that what democracy is supposed to be all about? And with that, I'll leave you with one final thought. When you're in the business of censoring hearings about censorship, it might be time to look in the mirror, and you'll see exactly what you fear. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. So here we are. House Democrats attempted to remove RFK Jr. from a hearing on government censorship, accusing him of violating rules against defamatory testimony. He's running for president and was invited by the Republicans to testify, and the Democrats' efforts to silence him failed due to the Republican majority. RFK Jr. criticized the censorship attempts during the hearing and highlighted the Biden administration's efforts to censor his vaccine comments. So this was really just unbelievable to see. On the thumbnail, I did put a picture of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who's the chief censor in this story. I always try to get a good picture of someone. I try not to put up an ugly picture of someone. That was like the best picture I could find from the day. I really tried. to get a nice picture of her. It's harder with some people than with other people. But yeah, she thought that this censorship hearing should be behind closed doors. Yeah. The question is, you think at some point everyone will wise up? Like all of these just Democrat loyalists will, you think that they might go, oh, wait a minute. This doesn't seem right. But it's like all those people have already left the party, right? Who's left? Obviously, no one that observes any double standards at all, right? What's that expression? If we didn't have double standards, we'd have no standards at all. Seems very accurate in this case. But yeah, censorship is alive and well in our Congress. It's pretty unbelievable. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, and I will be going through all your comments in the after show. When the show is over, I'll go through all the comments on YouTube and on Rumble. We are streaming live on Rumble, rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. We're also there on DLive and on Twitch as well. But that's the story about censorship in the House of Representatives. Pretty unbelievable. So I got a couple of stories to get to today. And I guess let's get to the first one. It involves the Wagner Group. Now, why did the Wagner Group mercenaries decide to relocate to Belarus? Because they saw a Craigslist ad for dangerous convicts turned military instructors. According to a Wagner-affiliated Telegram channel, 22,000 Wagner Group mercenaries have been killed in Ukraine, with 40,000 wounded. About 25,000 recruits are still active, with 15,000 on leave and 10,000 in Belarus. These figures are hard to verify. Wagner fighters, mostly Russian convicts, played a significant role in the conflict in Bakhmut, with their chief claiming 20,000 losses. The group's future is uncertain. After the attempted mutiny in Moscow, some fighters may now be in Belarus engaging in operations in Africa and training Belarusian forces. All convicts were reportedly dismissed from Wagner's ranks. So, here's the thing. We really can't believe anything about the conflict over there. I think that should be your default. Anytime you hear anything about that conflict, just say, well, maybe, but I don't know. I'd like some proof, right? So this information came from a private Telegram group, but but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, right? Just because someone says something in private doesn't mean it's true. We do lie behind closed doors as well. I've always found that interesting. We live in such a binary world where we just assume that if someone says something off the record, then it must be true. Right? If someone says something to their spouse or something in secret, then they're not lying at that point. Well, maybe, but they could also be lying at that point as well, right? You just don't know. We should really look for evidence rather than just making these broad assumptions that I think we all jump to conclusions about things, about lying, right? And about news. Just because it's on a private Telegram group, who knows if it's true or not? I don't know. But I do think that this is interesting that so many are now training, Belarusans. Is it Belarusian or Belarusian forces? I'm not sure exactly what the pronunciation is on that. But Yeah, that's a little update. What's happening with the Wagner Group? You were wondering what was happening, but apparently right now they're not involved in the Ukrainian conflict anymore. So, or at least that's what they say. Who knows? Anyway, let's get to a story that a lot of people in the U.S. seem to be talking about. So you ever heard of this Carlee Russell? She disappeared after spotting a toddler on the interstate claiming she was kidnapped. But guess what? Google searches and her story don't exactly add up. Now here's just a hint, right? Don't Google how to stage a kidnapping. Sure, investigators may not be the brightest, but that's a little bit too obvious even for them. Here's the story. Carlee Russell, an Alabama woman who went missing after reporting a toddler on the interstate, was initially believed to be kidnapped. However, new evidence suggests she faked her abduction. Suspicious Google searches and inconsistencies in her story raised doubts. Further investigation and charges are expected. And how did I find out about this story? Well, I'm seeing all these memes online. This is one here. This is Carlee Russell starring in Taken 4 with Liam Neeson. Turns out she was actually searching for that movie the day that she disappeared. What are the odds, right? What are the odds? What were some of the other searches? They didn't release all the searches, but one was like, hey, how do you take money from a cash register without getting caught? And Amber Alerts, do you have to pay if it turns out to be fake? Things like that. Not exactly the kind of searches that would just be random for someone's phone. But here's the thing that I want to bring up to you. The authorities have access to her entire search history. What does that tell you? They have access to all of your search history as well. Yeah. Keep that in mind. If you're planning on doing any big crimes, faking a kidnapping, right? Maybe get a burner phone, right? Maybe search incognito or set up an onion router, right? Tor. Set up Tor. I don't know. This is just kind of laughable, but this is, kind of shades of Jussie Smollett, if you will. Anyway, I've just seen lots of memes online about it, and I thought the memes were funny. If you need a laugh today, you can just search for her name, like on Twitter, and meme, and see all the fun stuff people are posting. Sometimes you just need something to make you chuckle. But in many ways, this is good news that she was not actually kidnapped, and there was not a toddler that was actually missing and kidnapped. So that's good news, right? Didn't actually happen. So we should all be able to celebrate that. Lastly, I got some good news. Some interesting design. I think you're going to like this. Here we go. There's a new remedy for Brexit and climate anxiety. It's called grief raves. It's like therapy meets a dance party. Just imagine one step closer to solving the world's problems, all while busting a move. So artist Annie Nicholson collaborates with the Lost Project, K67 Berlin, and Street Sound System to create a public art project aimed at helping people cope with grief and climate anxiety caused by COVID-19, Brexit, and the climate crisis. The project features a refurbished K67 kiosk offering activities like DJ sets, meditation, yoga workshops, dance classes, and grief raves, where attendees can request tracks in memory of lost loved ones. The initiative started in London's Canary Wharf and will tour Europe and the UK. Nicholson found inspiration for the project after experiencing personal losses and believed dance can provide a physical outlet for grief and healing. So this is the K67 Kiosk, and I was unfamiliar with the K67 Kiosk. But here's another one. This picture is actually from the Museum of Modern Art. And so the Kiosk K67 as it's called, is a versatile system of modular fiberglass structures designed by Slovenian designer Maktic. Originally used as kiosks in Yugoslavia, they've been adapted worldwide for various purposes, showcasing their enduring appeal and adaptability. Maktic's pragmatic approach to design remains relevant, and he continues to develop new kiosk design based on user feedback. And so the idea that, having a little place to dance, right? A little kiosk out in public that you can go in and there's music and you can dance, I think is good therapy, right? I believe in dance, right? I teach dance fitness. So this is something that I believe in. I think any day you dance is a better day of life. And they're setting this up, as an art display. But the idea is to introduce people, to let them get their grief out, let them get their anxiety out through dancing inside this little mobile kiosk. And I really like the idea of this kiosk. Now, it's fiberglass. I think K67, I think it's because it was designed in 1967, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not 100% sure on that. Just in researching the story, that's where I found out about this kiosk. But I think it's really cool. One of the nice things about this, it's very much like a Lego system. So they fit together. So you can start off with like one little kiosk that they maybe sell newspapers out of, magazines out of. And then you can get another kiosk and it fits together into the next one and fits together. So it's all modular. And you can build like a bigger and bigger storefront. Or, this could be used for housing, modern housing. These modular designs, I think, are really cool. Now, not available in the U.S. You can buy these in Europe, but they're like 50 grand or something like that. Not available in the U.S. These old ones, but I think this is a really interesting design, and I think, perhaps in the future we might be able to 3D print these bad boys. You need a little office. You need to get away. You print one of these. You set it up in your backyard, and now that's your office. You can just set a little desk in there and go out there and do your remote work. If the people in your house are a little too noisy, too many things going on. It's kind of cool idea. Anyway, I thought that was good news. I wanted to share that with you. Get your feedback if you have any. If you've made it this far, thanks for smashing the like button. I do appreciate that. It does make a difference in the algorithm. Tomorrow is Friday. It's a Fact Check Friday. So please join me again, noon Pacific. And stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all of your comments. So hope you have a beautiful day. Peace. Thanks for sticking around, y'all. Obviously, it's not happening a whole lot over there on Rumble. What is up, Rumble? Not as many people watching today, but Duggo's there saying, hey-o. Glad to see you, Duggo. Thanks for checking in. What is up with YouTube chat? Lots of people checking in at the beginning. Tom, I'm going to start a hashtag AllRightJar campaign for you soon. We're working on it. I always appreciate the helpful reminders. Doug Christopher's checking in here. Nice. Perhaps proper vaccine testing could be carried out on a particular ethnic group. That wouldn't be racist, would it? Yeah, pretty much. I think if you mention race, racist. That's kind of how it works these days, right? So I would be all for moving away from grouping people by race, right? Aren't we past that? Aren't we past that by now? Jesse, one lump or two? Ba-dum-bum. Who is the guy with the tape over his mouth? I wasn't paying attention. That was just a stock image for censorship. What I do for my graphics is I just Google things and copy them. And I wanted a picture of someone with tape over their mouth. If I had more time, right? If there were 1,000 people watching the show live, I'd put a little more effort into the graphics. I might actually get a picture of RFK Jr. speaking and then Photoshop some duct tape over his mouth. But, you know, as we're at like a dozen people, this is what you get, right? I think Ukraine kind of belongs to Russia, but I don't have to live there for what it's worth. Some people say that. I don't necessarily agree with that. I have a magnet with a quote, "I'm not young enough to know everything," Oscar Wilde. Very true, very true. How to do a kidnapping. Yeah, that's not what you search for. On your own phone, under your own account. That's not the best. Search how to be incognito. Yeah. How do I do a secret search that the police will not be able to track? Yeah. Tom, have you ever done any ballroom dancing, salsa, tango, cha-cha, etc.? I have. The thing with salsa dancing for me, I just need more practice. One thing, and I'm a little self-conscious about salsa dancing. When I go out to a salsa dance, often I'm about half a foot taller than everybody else on the dance floor, and I feel like I really stand out. And if you're not very good and you stand out, you just kind of feel like everyone's looking at you even more than they probably are. And I should just get over it. It's a big who cares. But that's one of those things, is that if you're not good, right, you kind of want to blend in. And if you're a lot bigger than a lot of the other people there, it's hard to blend in. So, yeah, I just need to get over it. But I really like salsa dancing. I think it's a lot of fun. Ballroom, not so much. But I'd probably be into any of these if I had a partner that was into them. I'd be for it. That's like the scene in Independence Day. The people on the skyscraper with signs and dancing and celebrating the alien ship blows them away. I don't know if I've ever seen Independence Day. I know, right? Shocking. Just something about it, I don't know, it just never really appealed to me. That's a big 3D printing project. One should start with something smaller, like an all right jar. All right, I get it. Well, apparently these K67 kiosks, they're made so that you can take them apart and put them together. They're made to be modular, and so it's not one solid piece of fiberglass. Like each wall is separately and they all connect together. So I don't know that you would need that big a printer to be able to print out something like that. I tried swing dancing, Lucid Moment says, for a short time back in San Diego. I was 21 then. I did some swing dancing in grad school. That was kind of it was trendy at the time, back when there were the Gap commercials and the whole thing of, there was a couple years that there was a swing, like late 90s, there was kind of a swing comeback. And I did some swing dancing then. Haven't been in a while, though. I think a good way of decreasing anxiety about climate change could be to stop the constant fear-mongering about it. Well, that's not going to happen. That ain't going to happen. There's too much to gain from fear-mongering, right? In everything, we need to look at the incentives, right? And if you are trying to control people, the best way to control people is fear. That's the number one thing that you can do to control people, to have influence over people, is to have them in a state of fear. And so, yeah, it's constant, right? So as soon as the COVID thing, people weren't as afraid of COVID, all of a sudden, boy, they hyped up the climate fear as well. Not saying it's not true, not saying that it's not real at all. I'm just saying that there are perverse incentives to promoting the fear about these things. So that's something to always keep in mind. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow, Friday. Fact Check Friday. Hope you all have a good one. And I'll see you then. Peace.